Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have the beautiful Rosa in front of me, and I'm going to be asking her all about her business. And she has a lot of insight to share with us because she is brand new to this artist community. She is brand new. And I think that this can give you all a really good perspective of how to start a business, what the beginning months are like, and what, if you just have to jump into things or, really that whole process. I'm so excited to hear from Rosa about her beginning experience, about her business. And with that, Rosa, can you share about yourself?
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and just an honor to talk about my business and also learning from you. So I'm so excited about that. Hi, I am Rosa. So I'm actually here in Arizona, which is exciting. I know. And
Yes.
so enjoying this beautiful weather as I get started with my business. I live in Arizona currently, Phoenix, and specifically here with my husband, my two cats, Cleo and Odin. And yeah, I am starting the business of, starting in it when Rosa Thrifts.
You're in it. When Rosa Thrifts.
Yes.
I want to hear about your business,
Mhm.
but I am assuming that you thrift and that's some part of your business.
Yes.
But I first, just right before we get into
Mhm.
that, I want to know about how you came up with your business name. I
Mhm.
love it. It's so catchy, and obviously your name is Rosa, but like how did you come up with that name?
Yes. So I know thrift was in it, and I thought, okay, I was like nervous to put my name in it, right? I was just like, oh, should I put my name in it? And then I got it from my mom and my sister, and I think it was different. We love to go thrifting, we do. And like the turn kept coming up, like, oh my gosh, when Rosa thrifts, she can go all day, just thrift all the time, go, go, go. When Rosa thrifts, like she's unstoppable. When Rosa thrifts, she finds the cutest things. And like that just came up, especially my sister Kayla, she was the one that kept saying that. I'm like, well, I kind of like the ring to it when Rosa thrifts because it sets like this tone of what happens. Like it tells a story. And that's what I came up with when Rosa thrifts. So I just loved it from immediately. And I love that it's like three words and all together. And it's just, that's
Perfect.
how it came to be from my, yeah, mom and sister.
Oh, it's absolutely perfect. I love that so much. I already made a video about how to create a business name, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's really hard. It was really hard for me to create my business name, but yours just seems so effortless and really like I applaud you. I think that your business name is just I love it so much. I wish I
So
had
sweet.
something that I could have made it just that simple. But it's perfect. It explains your business perfectly. It just sums it up. And I love it. So that being said, what
Mhm.
is your business?
Yes. So when Rosa's thrift, so I'm very specific. So I feel like when we're going thrifting, of course, there's a lot of resellers, of course, and trying to find a niche, that's like the thing. What is your niche? And so I had to kind of take a step back and realize, what am I thrifting? What is my style? What do I like to do? And so I was thrifting specifically home decor. I love home decor, as you can see, my little quirky things I have in the background. And that's why I love quirky, eclectic, colorful, bright. So I'm looking for pieces that are just one I love of affinity for fruits and vegetables. I don't know. It's just something about it just makes it just cute and quirky. So I try to find pieces that are quirky and colorful. And I also getting into clothing as well too. Specifically vintage pieces. When I mean vintage, I mean like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even Y2K is considered now vintage. Yeah, early 2000s. And so again, I want to find those like one of a kind pieces that it'll take a while to find. Like, oh my gosh, how did you find this? Like, it took a lot of time, and it just was so much fun to like focus on this is my niche and what we call dopamine decor, which is something that like you get excited about. Like, oh, this is so cute and fun and colorful, and I love that term, dopamine decor. So that's the niche, so like what I'm focusing on.
I have never heard that before. You didn't coin that, did you?
Oh, definitely not. I'm just part of one of the girlies who love dopamine decor. It's like this thing of like I don't know, tons of color in the home, quirkiness, and it's just that's what I'm looking for is things to just put like who get excited. And I love just like being excited. The thing I have coined is being your new thrift bestie. It's like I'm thrifting for you. Like I'm looking out for you, girly. I want to find what you're looking for that's eclectic and colorful, and just put a smile on your face and get excited about
Oh
pieces.
my gosh, that's so exciting. I love your enthusiasm about this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to talk about.
I love it. I love it so much. Have you always been thrifting?
Yes, always. And from my mom, from my mom. So when I think about that, so at first, like it was a kind of necessity thing, right? Because I wanted to get cute clothes, but we couldn't afford cute clothes, and I had to get creative with that. So we went to the thrift stores, and I didn't see it as maybe back then. I like how now thrifting is more conscious living, eco-friendly, but before it wasn't that great to go thrifting when I was in middle school. So it was one of those things that at first it started out of necessity, but now that I'm getting older, it's just because I love one of a kind pieces and I want things that no one else has. Like, where'd you get that? Well, I thrifted it. Like, it's not in
Wow.
circulation anymore. And now that it's just part of who I am now, thrifting. Now that I can't go into a store and just like buy something, I've gone shopping now, like the last couple of years, and everything. I'm just like, oh, it doesn't get the same spark when I go find something thrifting, like searching in all of the clothes racks and the shelves and things like that. And I've just been thrifting for years. Like as since the first thing I can remember thrifting secondhand things from other people, just from my family members, passing things down. All my life I've been thrifting actually. Yeah.
Wow, but it became cool recently.
Right? It did. It did. It came
You're doing it
cool. Like,
because before it was cool.
yes, exactly. I was like,
Make
oh,
it
now it's
cool.
okay to say it's thrifted, which I love. I'm excited about. So it's cool that now it's like, okay, cool. It's
Oh
thrifted. It's one of
yeah.
a kind. Like also saving the environment, not taking things out of out of the like the trash and like going into like we're recycling and reusing. So I'm really excited about that.
Really a whole eco-friendly business that we have going here. I love it so much. So, do you thrift the things that obviously that you like that excite you, or are you also thinking about other people? Do you ever thrift things for your business thinking, it's not really for me, but it'll be for somebody else?
That's my other part of business, which I love. There have been friends and family who are like, "Hey, can you keep an eye out for this?" And so I think what I love about that, I love thrifting for everyone else. I think it's my other passion is once I have a vision, my favorite tool to use is Pinterest boards. Like tell instead of you, of course you can tell me and I kind of know a little bit about you. Send me a Pinterest board and tell me what do you like? What do you don't like? That's so important. Tell me what is like no go, don't do this.
Wow.
And I love thrifting and finding things also for collections. So I have like little mini collections that I drop every month. And it's fun to like find things with a theme because as much as I want to keep every little single item, I wish I could. But then I started this business because that is something that I had to stop doing. So
You would
instead of
just be starting a thrift store yourself.
exactly, honestly, I could.
From one
That'd be
thrift
so
store to
convenient.
your thrift store.
Exactly. So even though I thrift something for someone else in mind, I still love it and get super excited about it. I would never thrift something that I wouldn't myself have it in my home. Um, that's what makes it so hard. Like it's not for me, it's for my customer, and I know they get so excited for this.
And how do you decide what's for you versus your business?
I have to keep a list of things of like, okay, I need this for my home and keep an eye of it. It has to be something like I really can't let it go. There's some pieces of specialty clothing like this would look so cute on me, but I know this would fit the collection so well. I know. I also think of sizes in mind. I try to do an inclusive size. I start from the medium up. As someone who also is a size like a mid-size, like ranging from 12, 13, 14, it's hard to find pieces, especially if you want to like, go to the flea market or vendors and things like that. They usually don't have my size. So I try to keep conscious of that, of making it as size inclusive, starting from medium to I think the size I have up to is 4X and trying to make it as inclusive as possible.
You're doing it all. I love it. At what point did you
Mhm.
think that it could be more than a hobby and turn into a business?
It was sometime last year. I was thinking about it so much because, of course, the people that I follow are also resellers. So even before I just follow them, like, wow, like this is incredible that part of their job is to source items, go to thrift stores all day. First of all, it's like a dream. It's a hobby of mine, but then also turning into a business.
How often are
So
you thrifting? Sorry, that was dumb question. But now I'm curious. I was curious before, and I'm extra curious.
Okay, I people ask me this all the time. A lot of so it depends. I can go thrifting like once a week, but now at this time it's once a month because I feel like I can find a lot of things and I have to like kind of rein it back because I can go all the time. I have never been like, oh, I can't go thrifting today. I have never felt that. Still haven't. I can go thrifting anytime, any day. It's my favorite thing to do.
So you bought a
Yeah.
lot of things and then you're thinking like, okay, I can sell this. This is something I can do like professionally.
Yes. When I can just like find something like, I think someone would like this. Like, I think so. And so that's what, yeah, I all last year I was thinking about it. Then I was like, I'm just gonna go for it and just announce it on an Instagram page, made an email, Instagram page. That's it. We'll see what happens.
When did you hard launch it?
Yeah. So it was, I remember January 10th. I give myself 30 days. You have 30 days to launch everything. And so that's what I did. And those 30 days, I just threw everything I had into it so I can launch my first collection.
Okay, January 10th. So for those watching this right now, it's April 20th. So this girl has done this in 2 to 3 months.
Oh,
Yes,
wow. Put
we
it
have
that way.
started this business in 2 to 3 months. So we are fresh,
So
but you've
fresh.
done
Just a baby.
so much. We'll talk a little bit about everything that you've
Yeah.
done. I feel like you have packed so much to your first 3 months, way more than I did, or so many people that I know. It's amazing. It's
You're
incredible.
so sweet. Thank you.
So when you go to a thrift store, prices are obviously marked down from what they once were, wherever they're from, however old they are. How do you decide to price your work?
Mhm.
Because obviously this is a business and you have to make money. Your customers also know that these were thrifted items.
Of course. So there's some ways how I kind of gauge my pricing. The first is I have like a max and how much I would spend on certain types. So let's start with, I guess, home decor. Home decor is priced, usually range from $2 to $7 or $8. So in that range, I am starting off doubling that price automatically just to see like, okay, that's the price. Then I had to include that. What are the services I'm thinking of? How I add like another dollar or two to it is I'm cleaning it. I am maybe making any amends to clothing if I am cleaning it beforehand. So that any other step, I maybe add another dollar or two, and then I also think of tax. That's a big thing is taxes, 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 which is so much fun. As a small business owner, I've had to learn of taxes. So that's another thing. Like I know 30% I have to put away for taxes. I learned, which is
Wow.
like already automatically I have to think of there's tax and then the cost expense, then the cleaning, so I have to have that into account. For me right now, my starting prices are relatively accessible. When I say accessible, I start from a minimum of $10 to the highest price something is $60. The reason why my pricing is like that because I'm just a baby. I just started and I want to still be accessible. I think of this time that I'm putting into all the pieces that I have to consider when pricing it. I still like to keep it accessible at this time because I'm starting off and I want to keep it accessible for people to find pieces. Maybe they don't have a thrift store near them, or maybe they don't have the time to go find thrifting for them. My favorite platform that I've been using is Square and Squarespace.
Yep, I use
Yes.
that too.
It's one of my favorite ways to everything's all together all at one. And so I use that and I price it at least $1 to $2 more, $3 at the max. So I can again make sure the cost is covered, that I'm able to put money aside for taxes and things like that.
Do you use your phone or did you jump in and go get an iPad or something to
That
make it
is
look more official? Or how are you doing that?
That is my goal, but keeping it small and simple, that's a big thing. Is like I'm starting off and I had to do my best to keep everything, all the costs low, especially with shipping. Another thing about I had to figure out is I had to make the shipping specific because at the beginning I learned I was putting shipping costs too low. And then when I weighed it, it was not the same. And so that was a big thing I had to do was make sure I weigh the piece before, and then I was able to calculate that individually. It's tedious, but it's needed. It needs to be done.
Shipping is like my arch nemesis. Shipping and
Yes.
taxes
Yes.
are the two of the worst things. It really sucks. I hate to elevate prices for shipping or to have the customer pay for shipping, but if I
It,
didn't, I would not be making
yeah.
money. It's a business. Shipping
Yeah.
is really expensive.
Yeah.
I've seen you. You've been doing a lot of shows. How many shows have you done so far?
I just completed my counting now, my third show. My
Oh,
third show. Yeah.
you jumped into shows so fast. and there's a lot that you need to do to be able to sell at a show. So
Yes.
how is that for you?
Every just like show or market is so different and the demographic, everything was so different. I've got to say the first one, it was really difficult. The first one, I think I'm an optimist. As you see, I'm enthusiastic. So I really set myself really high standards and I had to just be more realistic of what that looked like. I learned so much from my first show. I think that was the first thing. Every show I've learned something and I've gotten down to now what is selling, what people want to see. And my
Mhm.
last show did the best because my first show was not the best. My first market, not at all, especially with display, with pricing, with how to interact with customers. How do you give them space, but also be helpful? And also just setting up too, because I set up by myself. It was my first, and it was so early in the morning. I'm an early bird, but I just like setting up and getting everything prepared. It was stressful. It was exciting because I love interacting with customers. It was just, I was so nervous. I
Oh,
was
you
so
should have
nervous.
had your husband help you. What's up with that?
Help
Why
me
were
break
you
down
alone?
everything.
You
Help me
dragged
break
him there to help you.
Oh yeah, the husbands are the ones that are yeah, unpaid labor. Literally, yes. No, he helped break down. It was amazing. I needed it because I brought so much inventory the first show. I'm like, I don't need to bring as much inventory as I think I do. And I realized I need to be specific of what market demographic looks like versus online demographic. Like it's totally different, I realize, of what people want to buy and what's specific. So I've learned so much and I honestly I love markets. I love my online business, but markets are my I want to do the one every weekend, which so far I am. Like I have one coming up and then another one in a couple weeks.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Rosa said that she lives in Arizona. She used to live near me in Pennsylvania. The weather, night and day. And
Yes.
Rosa was just telling me that she has there's markets every weekend of the
Mhm.
year. It's warm all
Mhm.
year, right? So
Yep.
we, whereas with where Rosa is now, it's market season all the time. It's market season for like 3 months here. So it's just a whole different world. And I imagine that you can actually be way more successful in your business over there than somebody over here could potentially. The night before Rosa did her first show, she texted me, "What do I need to know?" And I told her
Yes.
about weights for the tents. And I was like, you have to set up in the morning. It's nighttime. You don't have weights.
I was like, wait, oh my gosh, wait. So I just booked it to Home Depot. I'm like, please, where do I go? Anybody, please.
And we all learn from experience. But was there anything that you were unprepared for in your first show?
Yes. So I think the setup. I had a really grand setup for the first time because I had a lot of room. Usually it's 10 by 10, but with this market, they gave you double that size, even though you had the 10 by 10 tent. I realized that that is great. I was prepared for the first market, which was very specific, but didn't transfer to other markets. So because of that, I had big pieces. I rented a U-Haul. I mean, U-Haul van, and that's not smart to do when you're first starting out because it is expensive to get the van. So I had to think, how can I make this accessible for the rest of my shows, not just for one market? I prepared for the one market that I knew really well because I shopped there before. And so moving forward, I have to change completely my setup. Foldable things like setups are
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I did not because I do have a big enough car trunk, but not with this huge like wicker tall shelf that what it's just eating up space in my car that I can put for inventory, not for shelves. So that was a huge thing I had to learn is trying to get everything collapsible, things that I'm focusing on inventory versus setup. Because my inventory is like decor. Like that is what this should be shining through, not like the grandeur of your setup. It's all about the product, how to make the product shine.
Absolutely. I've had to learn that too, for sure. Bigger shows, I mean, tent shows, sometimes you do need to rent. I've been there, I've rented U-Hauls, but for your everyday show,
Yes.
that's definitely somewhere where you can cut costs is to fit what
Exactly.
you can in what you have. Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes it means purchasing a lot of foldable things. And I mean, there's a lot of money that goes into for doing
Yes.
that, into the setup or your dolly, right? A foldable dolly. Key.
Yes, I got that as well, and I also everything secondhand, like, for all the my setup, and I also wanna live up to, like, what my brand is too, so everything I got for my setup is from Facebook Marketplace. So, the shelves and everything, trying to cut costs, that's my number one advice, Facebook Marketplace or, the thrift store to find things to, raise your, like, anything for your displays or anything like that. I bought it from Facebook Marketplace and thrift stores. I think that speaks to having such a supportive partner too,
Yeah.
because he's like, yeah, the
It's
one of my
helpful.
biggest fans. I'm like, let's do more. What else can we do? Like, what's going on? And it's been really great to have that, like, has someone who's just as supportive, coming with
Definitely.
me on the weekends, helping me break down,
Oh,
going
so
to
he's
see
come
other.
with you now. He's coming now.
Yes,
He showed
I-
up.
he's not a morning person.
Setup takes a lot of time, everyone.
Yes,
Takes a lot of time. When you have a tent, it takes a lot longer.
yes, it does.
Even though, like, even if you become an expert at setting up your tent, it takes a lot longer than if you don't have a tent. And your space too. It's a larger space than usually if you have to have a tent because it's 10 by 10. Sometimes people do the 20 by 10s if they have a
Yeah.
double.
Hmm.
But sometimes if you don't have a tent, then you'll have like an 8 by 8 or
Hmm. Hmm.
8 by 6, 4 by 6 even. So
Yes.
your if your space is smaller, then you bring less and there's a lot less
Yes.
to do.
Yeah.
But bringing less also might mean fewer sales.
Yeah. Exactly.
Depends. It all
Hmm.
depends. So
Hmm.
how have you done? You've done 3 shows so far, and
Yes.
how were those financially for you?
Yeah. So the first one, definitely not great, for sure. The first one was, I guess, financially speaking, the worst one. Honestly, the last market I just did was the best one, and it. So I feel like once you find a market, it feels like a community afterwards. With this market, the community feels a community of creatives and creators, and I've got to say, with that, I've had conversations with everyone, getting to know everyone, and it's been amazing. This is the place I didn't have a tent at all. It was just my products out in the open that did the best, actually. And I
Okay,
feel like yeah, and the same products. I'm like, interesting, okay. And also the quickest to set up and the quickest to take down because everything
love
was
it.
full. Yes. And I knew everything was going, and it's just becoming quicker process. Now it's becoming like now so much quicker.
Every show that you do gets better and better. And
Yes.
that's how it should be. Your setup isn't free, right? Like your everything
Yes.
that goes into your setup, even if you
Hmm.
thrift it, even if you get it on marketplace, it's not free. And you're always going to be tweaking things and making things, adding to it, and you're like, oh, this will be the perfect thing for me to display this item on. So you get it, and there's a lot of moving parts here, and it costs money. So you can't start everything out right at the very beginning because when you don't have profit yet in your business,
Hmm.
spending your personal money and that is
Exactly.
really difficult. So setup and like really investing in
Mhm.
a solid setup takes time. So you have your shows, you
Yes.
have your online store. How are sales
Mhm.
comparatively? Like, are you selling online? Are those people all people who you know, or are you getting strangers yet to your website?
I do have strangers. I don't know who they are. A couple people, family and friends, I've got to say, are the such supportive, had did buy from my shop. Right now, the best is in person. I've also I realized you have to really sell things in different avenues, and so I do the online and in markets as well. And I think that's going to be important to know that. I also try to find things that are low cost too. So of course I'm selling that. I also have the thrift prints coming out, and then things are going to be low cost and stickers and things like that. I realize that I make the most of in markets for sure. I think it's not only because I talk to people and it's kind of like a personality thing. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. And we have a conversation about it. And I remember this time someone came in, like, I'm going to come back and I want to buy these plates. I'm like, okay, tell me so I can put them aside for you. And she goes, okay, these. And I put them aside for her. And I thought of her. And then she came back and she got these cute little strawberry plates. I was so excited. Like, whoever gets these, it's adorable. And she got something else as well because I was thinking of her. And I think that's why I love market so much. I love my online business because it's also people from like California, people around the US can shop. But markets is like my one, my bread and butter. And two, I love talking to people.
Yes, it's so I mean you just have such a personality for that, but it's so fun. It's so fun to do
Yes.
shows. But that's amazing that you have strangers ordering from your online shop. Oh
A
my
couple
God.
people, I'm so excited.
In 2 to 3 months, it's wild. Where are you getting those people from?
So on Instagram, you can boost sale, like
You've
boost
boosted your posts.
yes. So what you could do is actually say shop now. So I put a link into my shopping
Yes.
page, and I also in my stories as well. For my stories, I make sure it's the exact link from that page. So like if they're gonna buy a thrift print, it's the exact link. So again, I want to do as much work as possible for the customer that it's going to be like immediate. Like I remember I posted something one of my stories, and someone bought it right away because like, oh, it's just right there, my fingertips. Like click that link, good to go. That's how I can get it.
That's amazing. So you have been getting your customers from Instagram. Like, so you
Yes.
built up a customer base. How do you find those customers on Instagram?
So it's really cool that because Instagram does a little bit of the work for you, so you can boost. And I think it's a necessary cost. And so put up a budget. I could figure out what that looks like, and they're sending it out to people who have similar interests. So
Yes.
people who are following me are usually other resellers, other people who are interested in thrifting. So I think it's important having the hashtag of like thrift
Okay.
finds or thrifted style, and so people who already are interested in thrifting and I also reach out to other thrifters like, oh my gosh, I love your page. I love connecting with other people and saying how much I love their page, boost other people's sales as well. I think it's
Yeah,
important that I'm not just focusing on myself, but other people who
definitely.
I love their stuff. I'm like, everyone needs to know shop there. When I fall in love with the like creator and the artist, I want everyone to shop there as well because I know I
Definitely. Yeah, you're one of those amazing vendors that we were just talking about. So a lot of it is coming from boosts. So
am.
you're
Yes,
paying for the boost,
yes.
which has been necessary for you so far.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's paid off. It's been worth it.
I think so. And also offering a discount code. So in my business card, like your first online order is 15% off.
Yes.
So that business card not only holds all my information, I throw that into the bag or anything I'm shipping or a bag in markets. I give them a sticker, I give them a card, and so they can just remember where they got it from.
Perfect. I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. When you
Yeah.
sell online, you need to package things and,
Oh, yes.
be creative in your packaging. That's a
Mhm.
whole different conversation. And how do you do that? What's your process with packaging and selling?
Yes. So one of the things we do, I have a just a stockpile of Amazon boxes. So that's one way I try to cut costs. Like if I order something from Amazon or anything for like the house, I keep all the packaging and I keep
Oh,
all the boxes. Let's say there's not a perfect box to fit something. Obviously, I go to Staples. They have really great rewards, or Walmart, or anything that has packaging. The first thing, if it's going to be delicate, I really do need to make sure it's bubble wrapped first, and then this like wrapped again with like paper or something, and then cushion outside of it. Just cushion, 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 and put fragile on the package. You have
mhm.
to put fragile because it will. Sometimes I am shipping things all the way to Rhode Island. Sometimes I am shipping things that are going to be far away, and it's going to have a bumpy ride. So you're going to have to be mindful of that. And of course, what I add some freebies. So adding like a little thank you postcard, a sticker, and a business card to add in there just for thinking of to coming. I do love packaging stuff because I love to make it like all cute, like after wrapping it with tons of things, adding cute little things and saying thank you for taking the time to like because it's supporting a dream essentially. If you're buying, I know you're buying something and you're getting a product, but you're also supporting my dream of like continuing on as a small business.
Definitely. And all of those things that you include in there aren't free either. That's
Nope, not for yeah, for them it is, not for me.
nope. But that took time for you to create all of those things. How did you
Yes.
think about all of those things to add into it, like a thank you card and whatever it might be that you add to it? How did you think about it? How did
Mhm.
you design it? And where do you get those from?
Yes. So, it's gonna be trial and error. Some you have to figure out what works best for you. I really like graphic design even before I started this business, and so I did it on Canva. Canva, I think by far, I think it's a great investment of making everything yourself and then having someone else print it. So I had Staples print it, my cards, and learning what different types of paper you like. People who are printing stuff for you, become besties with them because you're going to be there a lot. I'm at Staples a lot, so much. Um, so Staples, and as well as stickers. Stickers is another piece. Understanding the scaling of things, starting off if it's 3 inches, 4 inches. Sometimes I print things and I have to eat the cost because I wasn't thinking of it. I'm just learning. And I just have to realize, you know what, I made a mistake and I still want to use it because I don't want to lose the money. Staples has a great refund policy that sometimes if it doesn't print out well, they've always accepted my return, which is so great.
Oh,
Starting off, it's the lowest cost I've done research. I did a Vista print, but it takes the longest. It takes a long time actually. And it's a little bit more expensive than Staples. So it depends. You have to do shop around.
for
Etsy
sure.
is a great place that there's small businesses that also print out stickers. So it's just a lot of shopping and researching, but that's how I do everything. Canva, and then I print it out with Staples.
Yes, lots of it. So all of those things that go into the thank you, saying thank you to customers, because we're all, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think I'm going to speak for everyone that as a small business, as a creative business, we appreciate orders so much, and it really is supporting us as
Yes.
individuals. So when you make a purchase from a small business, it is so appreciated from like the bottom of our hearts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and so we want to thank you. And that's why we do things like putting the thank you
Mhm.
cards, notes, and whatever it might be into any kind of orders, like online orders, or sometimes even in person. But all of
Mhm.
that stuff it takes extra time. All of that takes extra money. And
Yes.
we also have to weigh, is this worth it? We want to thank you.
Yeah.
And we're trying to start a business here. So is it worth it? And most of the time, yes, it is.
Mhm.
It is worth it because it's so appreciated. When you're starting out as you are,
Mhm.
there's so many costs just for
Yes.
everything. There's so many
Mhm.
costs that go into starting a business. You said
Yes.
LegalZoom,
Yeah.
yes, starting your LLC. That's not even the bulk of it. It's just
No.
there's so many costs, and it feels like you're just like spending money
Oh,
here all the
that's what it
time.
feels like.
And did you put aside money for your business? Again, it's all going to come around after. You're going to even be able to pay yourself back one day. But how did are you right now just taking from your personal account, or
Mhm.
did you set aside money into from your personal account into a business account? There's a lot, so many costs, and when you don't have profits at the beginning, it
Oh,
can get
yeah.
really complicated.
Yeah. I think that's the one before I start saving money. I did for my personal account. So I have my own personal account that I have, and what I did was trying to research every little single cost that was going to take me. The biggest cost was the legal Zoom, and what the legal Zoom is, what they were doing is, I think. First, I want to get the LLC out of the way, first of all, because I
Mhm.
knew that tax is coming around. That's one thing I just had to make sure that was covered. So the first big investment was legal Zoom. How much would I have to save? And then products, and then also website subscription. As long as I make my website costs and of course, my storage unit costs. That's like the minimum, those expensive, and then also give myself a monthly budget of how much I can buy. Because
Okay.
again, you have to be mindful. Like, so
Yeah.
I would love to thrift every day, but that does add up. Add up.
I know it's mindless. Yeah,
Yes,
it's totally.
exactly. This is so cute, but like, does
And
it
it's
fit in my
thrifted, so
budget?
it's so cheap, but then it still adds up. Yeah,
Yes, and I
definitely.
have
What is your favorite part about having a business?
um creating collections for sure. I think that's one of the things that I've just really loved, is just having like a vision of all the different collections I have coming up, and also just seeing like how I can be creative. Like, how do I fit this into the vision? So my first collection was the floral fruits. I feel like that was just encompassing of what I loved, of just finding all these eclectic, like fun pieces and fitting it into this vision that I had. And so I just did floral fruits, pastel dreams, and then Isla vibes. And it's just been so much fun to get creative. And I also love like, okay, what's next? What else could I do to, show a piece of just eclectic style and more dopamine decor? That's my favorite part. I love creating collections.
It's an extension of you. It's amazing. How did you decide to do collections? That's so unique.
Yes. So again, learning so much from the thrifting community, reselling community. Some people do have collections but have a certain type of niche of what they like. So I realized that the type of collections that I like is kind of like an aesthetic. And so I've seen how everyone has done theirs, and I just picked and choose and name them. I love to name things. I love to create like this whole different type of what kind of person am I shopping for this certain type of collection? What would they like in their home? What would they like to wear? So I envision like this person that I'm thrifting for and creating this whole collection. And so when I think of that person, I even like try to do like a little short like blurb about the person. Like this month for April was Isla vibes. I actually let the people vote. So I had two suggestions and I had everyone vote. Were you like Isla vibes or denim in the desert? And everyone's like Isla vibes, Isla vibes, Isla vibes. I'm like, okay, let's do Isla vibes. And so it's really great to get also everyone else's input, the people who follow you, and they vote for you. I also love to play the game thrift or pass. So I ask them, would you thrift this or pass? And so it's like a game they play on the stories. And then I'm like, wow, some people, it's like I love to see some people are like, no, do not thrift that. I'm like, but I like it so much. I'm like, okay, well, let's see. And sometimes that does influence my decision if I'm going to thrift something. And it's fun to play. I just love the idea of this little blurb that I say, like, if I was a mermaid stranded in the United States, what would I be wearing? Where would I be going? What am I doing? And so I have this idea of this like scenarios in my mind of who's this person and what are they doing and what would they thrift if they were here. So
I adore that.
thank
I
you.
love that so much. Wow,
Yeah.
you are so creative. Oh my gosh, I
Thank
love
you.
it. Is there anything that you regret doing?
Yes. I think I've seen this a lot, and it's thrifting too much. There is a such thing as thrifting too much. As much as I don't like to admit it, there is. Um, it's kind of I gave myself this permission, like, well, I'm starting a business. I need inventory. I
Yeah.
really think I would have given myself more a direction. Now I've realized how important it is to have to be focused and to just give it all you have in one project and then moving on. Because I do have a lot of ideas bouncing around. I have to like give myself like, okay, slow down a little bit. Just have a moment to like really invest in this. Like I think a business plan is also important to know that by this month, when I reach this budget, I would do this. Like I don't need to have everything happening all at the same time. I can take my time and be more focused on the inventory I get. Because just because I love something doesn't mean I think it's going to be like, there's some pieces that I know that I bought maybe it's a little bit more expensive and I've taken that investment. It's one of those things that I wish maybe, you know what, if I started again, I probably wouldn't have bought that piece. Doesn't fit my niche now. Like now I understand what my niche is. Ooh, because I think it's nice. It doesn't fit my brand. And I wish I would just been more clear cut instead of just buying. It's like, no, this is my brand. This is what I'm looking for. So now I'm more focused on what my brand is.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so much that you can get lost in when you're in a thrift store, but but
Yes.
you have all of these exciting ideas. If you have X amount of dollars to do everything you need to do with, right? To decide like how to allocate those
Mm-hmm.
funds instead of just getting a little bit lost. And I hear you with prioritizing like a startup plan and a short-term plan and then meeting goals and then
Mm-hmm.
working towards a long-term plan instead of seeing it all as long-term plan is business and we need to get there now.
Yes,
It can get
exactly. Like,
really, really expensive to try to get there right now.
yes. I'm like,
Because
I'll get
that's what you
there.
want. And you'll
Mm-hmm.
work towards it and you'll get
Yeah.
there. It'll take time. So to slow down, you're saying, is a
Yes.
little bit,
Yes.
the words maybe to
Yes. Because got too excited. I'm like, okay, okay, maybe bring it back. Like I only need certain pieces, like 10 to 12 versus like 20 pieces for a
Yep.
collection and focus more. And then I realized how much I love markets. I really thought it was gonna be an online business where that was gonna be exactly what I wanted. But I realized I love markets. I love being in person. I love thrifting for other people. I now realize I can, but that was the mistakes I needed to make so I can understand what I love to do and where my strengths are. I love doing collections, but I realize my strengths are finding things for other people, making everyone's visions come true with thrifting. I realized that. Like I'm learning more of my strengths and where my areas of improvements are.
Your little fairy godmother.
From you. Literally, I
You're
was
like,
like,
I want to just do it all right now.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, slow down. I want to keep that momentum, but I also like I have to just meet those goals first. And
Mhm.
again, I want to have a space of abundance versus scarcity. Like I don't need to have everything right now. What's cool thing about being a small business owner, like it's up to you. You can decide. No one's telling you like you have to get this done. I'm like, you don't. You can relax. This is supposed to be something that's enjoyable. So I think that's what the cool thing is like, oh, I have the time. I can go towards like whatever speed I want.
Definitely. Yep. There, you don't have a boss
Yes.
to tell you what you need to do. It's
Yeah.
you decide that for yourself. But I think that's also really empowering to be able to choose
Mhm.
and make all of these decisions for yourself and work
Yeah.
towards goals that are your own.
Mhm.
And it's unique that we get
Mhm.
to do something like that. If your business succeeds, it's all on you. If your business fails, it's all on you too. But if you succeed, which it sounds like you're doing amazing things, that is 100% you. You've had guidance, but that is all you, which is amazing. And it's like it's even more rewarding in the end.
That's so true. Like, wow, I can't believe like taking a step back and I think again celebrating the small moments, like getting an LLC, doing my first market, like all of it's so much work, but again, so worth it.
Definitely. All right. Well, time is certainly up. Thank you for being here, Rosa. I appreciate you coming to talk with me. I loved every second about this. And thank
Same.
you all for watching this video. We both appreciate it so much. If you
Yes.
liked it, give it a thumbs up below. Write down in the comments. We'll both be monitoring those comments. So if
Yes.
you have any questions for any of us, for either of us, write those below. We'll definitely be happy to respond to you. If there's anything else that you want to see, any sorts of videos, write those down in the comments. Subscribe and keep the alarm on so that you can get notifications. We put out videos every single week. And I think that's it. Thank you, Rosa. So
Thank
happy you
you.
were
Same. I loved every second. It was so
here.
much fun.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.